To start adding lights to the scene, from the top right corner, switch to render view. I will keep the render engine on heavy, just to set up my sky first, then we will switch it to cycles. Now, open a new work window and put it on Shades Editor, change it from here to World Nodes, then, from Add, go to Texture and select Environment. I will open this last node and select the HDRI sky in it, make the strength value around 0.1, and while on the environment texture, hit Ctrl T to add the mapping node. Keep in mind for this last step you need the Node Wrangler add-on to be on, so jump to the add-on settings and check it if needed. So, I need the sunlight to position behind the building, using the rotation on their Z-axis, and move the sky down a bit from the location values. I did also make the strength 0.15, and that's it for the sky. I will switch to Cycles engine and check the view. Here, in the area over the door, put the cursor there, and hit Shift A to add an area light. Scale it to fit this area, and move it up a bit, so the light emitter won't show in the camera frame. In the light settings, make the color warm toward orange. And up the power to 40, switch now to render view. So, I increased the power to 60 as shown. We can also copy this light to the areas behind the camera on both sides. To add light faces in the models we made, we will do that in the materials settings, but first, let me just make this small light near the door. As before, throw a cube in the area and shape it around in edit mode. I will keep it simple just because it's far from the camera shot. Once you've finished, select those top faces to assign a light material to them. In the materials settings, add two materials. First one is a base material for the model, the second one will be an emission light, and we will assign to it the highlighted faces. In the emission light, make the color warm as before, use the same hex codes if needed, and up the strength to 12 for now. We will see how it looks in render view before copy it around. Looks nice for me. Select the light now and with Shift D, copy it around the scene. Now, in this model, select those faces, and as before, we will add the same two materials. First one is base for the model, the second one will be the light, and we will assign those highlighted faces to it. To increase the light strength in this model alone, I will hit the number near the material name as shown, and change the strength after that. Now, to copy the material to the rest of the models here, we will select them as shown, hit the one we fixed at last, and press Ctrl L to link materials to them. We also need to use Ctrl L one more time and select Object Data. Object Data will make the mesh know which face take which material. So, to start with materials, change the node back to Object, and select the water plane. Hit the New Material button now. So the water node goes like this. Delete the principal BSDF, add a glossy node, and make the roughness value 0.03. After that, add a bump node, a math node, and a Musgrave texture. So, it goes like this. The Musgrave factor will connect to one of the math node values, and make the last node on multiply. Now, connect the math node to the height input, and finally, connect the normals in both the bump and the glossy nodes, and I will change the numbers in all the nodes to reach a surface that looks nice. For you, you can experiment with it, copy the numbers as shown, or download the water material from the description down below. Those kind of materials like water, glass or mirrors, need to be set up one time only, and then, you should just have them saved aside, and link them to your projects once it needed, because it's the same base nodes, and you can edit it after that to fit the scene you work on. For me it just feel boring to repeat the same material in each project. Once you've finished, click and drag the material icon over the left water plane. Now, to this floor mesh, add a new material. We will make it concrete using textures. So, from Add, select Image Texture, open it and select this map. You can find all the maps in the description. Connect the nodes as shown. After that, we need to add a UV map to the mesh, and for that, split the bottom workspace to make an area for the UV editor. Now, press A to select all inside edit mode, and hit U to unwrap it using Smart UV Project. Then, in the UV edit window, press A again to select all and scale it to fit. Once you've finished with the diffuse, add a new image texture, this time for the normal map. Make this one a non-color data node. We also need a normal map node to connect the last texture with the main BSDF. A strength value of 1 is a bit much, so make it 0.3. In the reference image, the floor color leaned toward green and yellow, so I added this color mix node to adjust that. Make it 0.3 in the factor. I am also going to link a new material to the scene, a mask node, and we will use it to add dirt mask to this mesh. To link this material, go to File, Link, and select the materials file. Then, we will go to the material folder and select it from there. Add a new material in the same mesh and we look for the mask node that we linked. Here it is. Select it and hit Ctrl C, then go back to the floor material, and paste it there. After that, copy the color mix node and place it as shown. Make the color toward dark green. We will take this edge mask and connect it to the mix factor. One thing to know is, for the edge mask only, the mask won't appear in the material preview. You either need to set it in render mode, which is heavy to do, or like me, do that in the material setting. Open the preview section to see the change. Experiment with the edge scale and noise until it seems fit. Switch now to render view to see what we have. This dirt line is what I need, so that's it for the floor material. Continuing with the side materials, here in this mesh, we will add a grass texture to it, so, open the image texture and select this moss map. After that, in edit mode, select all and press U to unwrap it with Smart UV Project. Finally, highlight all in the UV edit window and scale it to fit. Copy this mesh to the right side once you finished. Here in these models, as you see, they all have the same color, so we will make it fast. Select this light model, in the base material, change the BSDF color toward blue, make the metallic 0.1 and the roughness 0.4 in values. After that, to add dirt to this material, first, I will copy the mask node to it from the floor material, then, we need a factor input for the mask. So, after you make a copy of the BSDF node, throw a mix between them as shown, change the color here, make it a bit darker, change the metallic to 0.15. Now, connect the edge mask to the mix factor, and experiment with the edge values until it seems fit. Switch to render view to see what we have. The last material in the site is the walls, and it is a simple one. As before, place an image texture here, open it to select the wall map. After that, select all faces in edit mode and hit U to unwrap it using Smart UV Project. Finally, in the UV edit window, press A to highlight all and scale it to fit. I did rotate it on both axes to place this dirt line in the bottom. Once you've finished, select the left wall and link it to the right one on both material and UV map. Now, in this model, select this part first, add to it the same base material from the light model, the vertical part will take the same one also. In this cover part, we will give it the base material, Then hit the number near its name to adjust it alone. After that, make the color white for the dirt. Copy those 3 nodes from the water material. I need it to be rough surface with little bumps on it. So we are going to edit some numbers here. Then make the roughness value 0.7, and that's it. The rest of the site models will take the same base material. One simple model to add here is those pipes. Add a cube in that area, use extrude and bevel to shape a simple pipe from it. Put it in place and make some copies of it around the building. I did also model this long pipe off record in the same way, and I will place it like shown in the reference image. Here, I am just organizing the models inside collection, so keep it like that. Now, to the main building materials, starting with the walls here, add a new material. So, from the side view, select this part of the building, and assign it to the wall 01. We also need a base material that I forget to add first, so I will fix this as shown. Now for this one, make sure the Node Wrangler is on. Then once you are on the BSDF node, press Ctrl-Shift-T for the auto principal setup. After that, we will select those maps all together. And here it is, all connected. Then, as before, in edit mode, select all and hit U to unwrap it using Smart UV Project. In the UV Edit window, scale it now to fit. I did make the normal map's strength 0.2. I also deleted the displacement from this material. Now, copy the mask node here, then, add two color mix nodes in this area and connect them as shown. In the first mix, make the color toward yellow, and feel free to use the hex code. The second mixed will have a more darker shade of the same color. Connect the edge to the factor input, and experiment with the scale and noise values. Those faces will take an emission light material. Select it first from here, then, hit the number near the material name to change the light settings in this mesh alone. The columns near the door will take the same wall material. I did increase the scale value here to 35, so work it around as you see fit. We also need to UV unwrap the column using Smart UV Project. give this part the same material as the walls, then, UV unwrap it. The door will have two materials, I will name them front and back. So, after selecting those faces, hit Ctrl+ to grow the selection, then, assign the faces to the second material. In the front material, hit Ctrl+Shift+T over the BSDF node, and select this set of maps. I did delete the metallic, the roughness, and the displacement maps, and kept only the diffuse and the normal ones. Now, add a color mix node, and make the color dark, then bring the mask node from any nearby material, and paste it here. Connect the edge to the factor input in the color mix. I did also throw a gamma node between the diffuse map and the mix, and made it around 0.7 in value. After that, add some reflections to the material in both metallic and roughness. Now, I will copy all the nodes from the front material to the back one. Then, I will delete the mask with the gamma and the mix. I did change the metallic to 0.25 in both of them like shown. Finally, I will add a hue saturation node to control the colors in both material. Make the saturation value 0.8 in the front one, then copy it to the back material and increase the value a bit. Now, select the green elements around the building, and hit the New Material button. Then, add an image texture, open it, and select this green map. After that, select all in edit mode and UV unwrap it using Smart Project. Scale it now until it seems fit. I did add a hue saturation node here to control the brightness. And made the roughness value 0.8. We also need a color mix node for the dirt mask, so add it here, in the second color of the mask, the one that would appear as dirt. We will have a different hue saturation node connect to it, and make it a bit darker with the value number as shown. Now, bring the mask node here, however, this time, we will take the ground dirt mask, and connect it to the mix factor. Experiment with the height and noise values until it seems fit. Finally, add a new image texture for the normal data, and connect it as usual. Make the strength value 0.2. In this roof, the bottom one, it has a green material in the reference image, so, let us first highlight those faces. I did select couple of them, and then, pressed Ctrl+ to grow selection until they all highlighted. After that, add a new material and assign those faces to it. So, as before, use the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+T over the BSDF node to set up the material with those maps. Then, in edit mode, select all and UV unwrap it using Smart Project. scale it to fit inside the UV edit window. Here, I will add a gamma node to control the brightness. Also, increase the roughness value using a math node as shown. The top roof will have the same green material. Select this area between the two roof, and assign it to a new material. Then, copy the wall nodes and paste it here like shown. In the new material, delete those color mix nodes, then, add a new mix. We also need to copy the BSDF to connect it to a new image texture. I will select this bitmap and connect it to the second BSDF. Unwrap it using Smart UV Project. Use the mix factor to control the combination of those two material. In this bottom part, select those faces in any method you see fit, and once you done that, assign them to the same material that we did earlier called Wall 02. And again, UV unwrap those faces with Smart Project. This part will have a new material, so assign the highlighted faces to it. And we will add an image texture to it. Select this green metallic map. So, to make this green looks orange, use a hue, saturation node, and experiment with the hue value until it looks fit. Make the saturation value 1.5, I also added a color mix node to boost the orange in it, and change the factor value a bit. Add some reflection to it in both metallic and roughness values. Finally, copy the wall 01 nodes to it and mix the new BSDF with the orange material using a mix shader. I did scale those faces to outside a bit to make a sharp edge in this area. In those parts over the door, I will use the same concrete maps. Throw some color mix node for the dirt mask, and as before, connect the mask edge to the color mix factor. Experiment now with the edge mask numbers until it looks fit. Finally UV unwrap it with Smart Project. Copy this material to the other parts over the door. In this top cover, I did extrude those faces to outside, so just use Ctrl B to bevel them. In this door cover, add a new material. Make the color green in the BSDF, and increase the roughness to max. After that, in the normal input, add a bump node, and a noise texture. Connect them as shown. In the noise texture, make the scale 10, the detail value 5 and the distortion 30. Change the strength in the bump node to something around 0.5. Finally, to add dirt to this model, copy the BSDF and mix it with the last one as shown. In the new BSDF, make the color white, and decrease the roughness to 0.6. After that, bring the mask node from any nearby material. This time, we will use the leaking mask, connect it to the mix factor, and again, experiment with the leaking numbers until it seems fit. We also have those model on the building's wall. First in this model, make a new material. In the color input, add a color mix node. The first color will be white toward orange a bit, the second one will be the dirt, so make it darker, and copy the mask node to this new material. We will connect the edge to the factor as usual, then, experiment with the edge numbers. Increase the metallic a bit, and make the roughness value 0.3. Once you've finished, copy this material to the rest of the models. In this model here, I will brighten the color, decrease the scale in the edge mask, and copy this to its similar. In those hanging models, I will give the bottom faces an emission light material, so, select the faces and assign them to any emission material from the ones we did before. Switch now to render view. So, I need to move some model in the site. Here in the first roof, I will make the gamma 0.4. In the green elements, make the value number 2. Back to the render view. We will try to improve the site before rendering the shot. I will also make some copies of the tree behind the site wall, and increase the number of grass in the site. Try to make the left and right areas look as green as possible. Here, I will add some cuts and extrude this part to inside. So, I placed 2 lines of trees behind the wall. In those models, I will copy the same wall material to them, and UV unwrap it. I did also select some faces in it, extrude them to inside, and give them an emission material. Thought it would look nice to have lights behind the trees. I think the lights inside the building walls is a bit big, so let us fix that. Using extrude and bevel, we will try to make it look nicer. Some important things to mention: if the HDRI reflecting too much light on the roof, try to add a plane under the scene and scale it up to cover the horizon. If the green elements look too close to each other, delete them as we did before, and copy them again with bigger offset. Also, if you had problems with the Smart UV Unwrap, say like the texture keep looking weird or something like that, try UV Unwrap it from the camera view using the Project from View option. This way you can set the texture easily and better looking. However, if you change the camera position after that, the distortion in the material will be visible, so keep this in mind. Once you are done with the scene, let us set up the render. Make sure you still on cycles and use the GPU device if you have a good graphic card. Make the samples count 1200. In the light paths, turn off caustics. For the tile size make it 256 for GPU and 16 for CPU, or use the Auto Tiles add-on like me. Finally, turn on denoising from here, and that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed this scene. Stay sharp, goodbye.